Greetings at Cheating Story Lab. Share your location below. I am Robert, a father who discovered that love alone may not safeguard those closest to you most. I've always prioritized family values. My daughter Olivia was engaged to her college boyfriend Nathan, whom I was genuinely delighted for. After years of troublesome relationships in her 20s, Nathan appeared different, a steady job, polite demeanor, and the ability to make Olivia laugh as she had during her teenage years. As the wedding preparations commenced around 8 months prior to the ceremony, Olivia approached me with financial plans and estimates from vendors, expressing their desire for an elegant affair but being unsure how to fit it into their joint salaries. I'd been saving money for this eventuality. Without any second thoughts, I offered to pay for the wedding as a token of my affection for them both. The budget eventually reached approximately $50,000. In terms of venue, catering, decorations, photography, music, attire, everything they desired. Observing Olivia, her face illuminated as each detail fell into place. It was the first time since her mother's demise 3 years prior that she appeared genuinely enthused about the future. The delight was worth every cent to me. Nathan, consistently courteous during the planning process, often expressing gratitude and inquiring if certain decisions were acceptable by me. He addressed me as Sir, aided in carrying items, and displayed genuine appreciation. I began viewing him as the son I never had. My bond with Olivia had been tense since her mother's passing, yet Nathan seemed to mend that rift somehow. The wedding was set for a June Saturday. On the Thursday preceding, I took them both out for dinner at an upscale steakhouse downtown. It was intended as a celebration, a final family meal before the frenzy of the wedding weekend. I had reserved their favorite spot, eager to propose a toast to their future together. During dinner, conversations flowed as usual, discussing arrival times and Saturday morning schedules. Nathan ordered a costly wine bottle, expressing his gratitude for my help with the toast. Olivia was beaming, talking about their honeymoon preparations and eagerness to begin married life. Approximately halfway through the meal, I needed to use the restroom. The restaurant layout directed me down a corridor past a secluded private dining area. Upon my return, I overheard Nathan's voice from that room. He was on the phone, concealed behind a pillar, laughing softly while discussing how effortless it had been to get someone else to cover expenses. He referred to this as playing a role and hinted at secrets about his post-wedding intentions, which Olivia remained unaware of. Nathan casually mentioned something that sent chills through me. Upon marriage and gaining control over Olivia's trust fund, we could decide our subsequent moves. After approximately 30 seconds of contemplation, I grasped the implications of his statement. Although Olivia was not supposed to disclose this information, it seemed she confided in Nathan, and it appeared Nathan had ulterior motives. I retraced my steps back to the table, feeling as though I'd been hit in the abdomen. Off the phone now, Nathan and Olivia were engaged in conversation about their weekend plans, portraying the ideal couple. I took my seat, trying to consume my meal but found it tasteless. They seemed oblivious to my altered demeanor, or perhaps they ascribed it to pre-wedding jitters. That evening, sleep eluded me. I repeatedly mulled over Nathan's statements, hoping against hope that I had misconstrued or misinterpreted them. But with each passing moment, the truth grew increasingly evident. The sequence of their relationship, his unexpected proposal after a year of dating, his seemingly prudent inquiries about Olivia's finances, which now seemed suspicious, led me to phone my lawyer on Friday morning. I shared the predicament and asked for details regarding our trust fund structure. He validated my deepest apprehensions. If Olivia married, she would gain almost immediate access to around $200,000 plus ongoing distributions for life. In the event of divorce within the first 5 years, the prenuptial agreement Nathan had suggested would safeguard those assets. However, should something untoward befall Olivia post-marriage, Nathan would inherit all her possessions as her spouse. The remainder of Friday was spent in a daze, engaging in wedding preparations while my mind whirled with thoughts. A portion of me yearned to address Nathan openly, yet I recognized it would only lead him to act more cautiously. Another part of me desired to disclose everything to Olivia, but I was equally aware that she'd be skeptical without evidence. On Friday evening, there was a small rehearsal dinner at the church. Nathan portrayed his role flawlessly, expressing heartfelt sentiments about love and dedication while thanking everyone. I observed him, embracing Olivia's grandmother, shaking hands with our pastor, and posing for pictures with authentic-seeming smiles. Had I not overheard that phone conversation, I might have been swayed by the performance as well. When Saturday morning dawned with fine weather, I was expected to chauffeur Olivia to the photography venue before the ceremony. Instead, at 7 a.m., I contacted the wedding coordinator and informed her that everything had been called off. Then I contacted the caterer, the florist, the photographer, the band. One by one, I canceled each vendor and explained there would be no wedding. At 8 a.m., my phone began ringing, first with Olivia's voice trembling and uncertain, inquiring about the situation. Next came Nathan, irate and insistent on immediate clarifications. I instructed them both to visit my residence if they desired answers. Upon their arrival, I led them into the living room and played a recording from our phone conversation Thursday night. I had returned to the restaurant the next day, discussed the matter with the manager, and obtained permission to review the security footage. The sound quality was poor, yet Nathan's words were distinctly audible. Olivia displayed a range of emotions as she listened: confusion, disbelief, terror, fury, grief. Initially, Nathan attempted to rationalize his actions, suggesting it was jesting with a friend and taken out of context. However, when I replayed the portion concerning her trust fund, his excuses crumbled. The argument persisted for approximately 2 hours. Eventually, Nathan acknowledged he'd been aware of the trust from the beginning of their relationship and had planned to divorce Olivia within a few years due to the 5-year clause. He'd previously consulted with a lawyer regarding his settlement. He professed his love for her, but his actions contradicted his words. Olivia remained silent during his confession, merely holding the engagement ring and turning it over in her hands. Once Nathan finished speaking, she stood up, handed him the ring, and asked him to depart. Despite his attempts to persuade her to reconsider, she refused to listen any further. After Nathan exited, Olivia and I sat in my kitchen drinking coffee and trying to comprehend the situation. She expressed regret over disclosing details about the trust fund, for failing to recognize his deception, and for the money lost on wedding deposits. I reassured her that the money wasn't important. What mattered was protecting her. Over the coming weeks, she endured a tough time. She had poured so much emotion and optimism into that relationship, constructing numerous future scenarios with him. People around her inquired about the abrupt termination, and she needed to determine how much to disclose regarding Nathan's deceit. Some of the wedding vendors acknowledged the situation and returned part of their deposits. However, others held on to everything due to the short notice. I lost approximately $15,000 in non-refundable expenses, but I viewed it as a worthwhile investment to shield my daughter from a more substantial catastrophe. Nathan made several attempts to reach Olivia in the subsequent weeks, via mutual acquaintances and social media. Once, he even showed up at her apartment, insisting he wished to clarify his actions. Yet, she had grown adept at discerning his manipulation and chose not to respond. In the subsequent 3 months, Olivia commenced dating a man she encountered at work who remained unaware of her trust fund and displayed no curiosity about her financial status. They proceeded cautiously, establishing a bond rooted in genuine compatibility rather than financial strategizing. Witnessing her regain her self-assurance and exuberance has been one of the most rewarding aspects of this harrowing ordeal. In retrospect, I comprehend how precariously we teetered on the brink of catastrophe. Had I not eavesdropped on that conversation, Nathan would have secured his desired outcome. Olivia would have wed him, granted him access to her inheritance, and ultimately found herself in financial ruin post-divorce. The $50,000 I invested in wedding preparations seemed a minimal cost compared to the alternative. Some people believe I overreacted, suggesting I should have afforded Nathan an opportunity to clarify or attempted reconciliation. However, I've come to understand that when someone reveals their true character, it is crucial to trust them on the initial occasion. Nathan's action wasn't impulsive or mistaken. It was a deliberate plot that potentially ruined my daughter's prospects. The toughest aspect wasn't losing the money or adjusting wedding arrangements. It was witnessing Olivia struggle with understanding that someone she believed implicitly had been deceiving her for months. Such betrayal leaves lasting marks, and I'm still aiding her in dealing with the aftermath. However, I'm thankful every day for being at the right place at the right time to overhear that discussion. Sometimes safeguarding those you care about necessitates making tough choices swiftly, even when those decisions bring short-term pain. I'd rather have my daughter healing a broken heart than navigating a damaged life.